Woohoo! Hi.
Hello.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about the 40-40 plan.
We are in the 40-40 plan. That's the one that we just got to do that 40-40 and then we're good and golden after that, right?
Golden ages.
That's why they call it golden years.
Yes.
Golden ages, maybe that too.
Yeah.
It's the gold rush right there.
Yeah.
So what about it? Is it still the plan that's active today? What do you think?
Well, the 40-40 plan is where you work 40 hours
Yeah.
for 40 years, at the end of which you retire and you get to just do whatever you want. You get paid to just have had all that work that you put into that business for that time.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah. Get to be one of those, out in the field kind of horse or something. Isn't that
the galloping
free horse.
Horse running around.
Yeah.
No worries after that, right?
No worries after that.
Is it realistic?
Well, I'm not sure. I kind of wonder about if it ever really was.
I think at one time it for a small section of time it was.
Yeah.
But what it did is ended up bankrupting companies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, lots of that.
There was some people that wrote it and was okay on it.
Yeah, I think maybe my grandfather did that.
Your
But
grandfather did, and
I
that
don't know.
one kind of still exists. If you work for the city or state,
Yeah.
they still have a
they still
pension
tend to
like
do
that still works. For the rest of the people out there, less and less companies are offering it.
Yeah.
Less and less. Just that they just don't offer it. The state, it's funded obviously by taxpayers and
Yeah. And
whatever.
Those pockets never empty.
No, not really, do they?
That's what they think.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
One day they'll pick lint out of there and be like, "What happened?" It's in the bottom.
It's in the bottom, very bottom. They're gonna be like, "Wait, what happened? This is the end."
Yeah. Where's the money?
There are a lot of reasons why it is that the 40-40 plan doesn't work anymore. One of them is because companies are not loyal to employees anymore. They do big layoffs. They discontinue their retirement.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Recently, Sears, just a couple of years ago, was talking about when they were doing their bankruptcy about including their retirees in the bankruptcy so that they didn't have to pay them. And I'm not sure how that worked out. So if any of you in our audience know how that worked out, I couldn't find that information. Did they actually cut off their retirees and they're not paying them anymore?
Yeah, I didn't look that up.
I couldn't find that information. They stopped talking about it in early 2019, and I didn't get to hear how that happened. What happened with it?
Yeah,
Is that they did do the bankruptcy. A lot of Sears places closed down. But
I would imagine they ended up losing it.
I don't know.
But
The feds were talking about maybe taking it over and paying the retirees the amount that was owed to the retirees for the rest of their contract. And that Sears was going to have to pay the federal government some kind of a fee for doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how that worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. It'd be interesting to know if anyone has heard. Let us know. I don't know if it's so much the companies, though, being unloyal anymore. I mean, there hits a time when, and it happened, to GM, that all of a sudden they ended up with more people retired than, was it GM that happened to?
Yeah.
Yeah, more people retired than who was working. And so it ends up becoming a spot where they just can't do it.
Yeah, no,
It's not so much loyalty as much as it was not something that they could sustain forever.
Yeah, maybe not planned out very well.
Yeah, it wasn't planned out that well.
Part of what the CEO was saying when he did come into the proceedings for Sears and go before the courts and say we can't afford our bills was saying that the retirees are killing us.
It is.
The fees
it
to
does.
all of the money that we have to pay out to these retirees is killing us.
Oh yeah.
And so I'd
sure.
imagine that there must have been something that was done about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where, well, go ahead. I won't interrupt you. But,
no. Go.
Well, it's one of those things that people got to know that even working for something like Sears, who you thought was rock solid. When I was a kid, that's what Sears and Roebuck had been around forever.
It's a 100-year-old company.
And you would have thought it'd been good to go. It just shows you that even if you get into a company that you believe is like I said, rock solid, going to be there, things happen. if you want to truly plan for your retirement, you better do it yourself.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah,
and
you
how
got to
many
make
people
sure.
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, not many.
Is anybody even doing that?
I'm sure
Are any of
there's.
you
I'm
doing
sure
that?
there's some. Yeah. I don't know
Your
if
own
anyone
retirement.
watching this is or in this room.
Yeah. So one of the other things that makes it hard for the 40/40 plan to work out is a lot of companies are shutting down. You
Yeah.
have Toys R Us shut down, you have Shopko's, Payless Shoes, and then Hostess went and shut down. And when they shut down, it seemed a little fishy to me because they shut down, which would have ended all the contracts. They got
Yeah.
permissions from the courts to completely liquidate everything, which would have ended all of their retirement contracts, I would suppose. And
Oh, I'm
maybe you
sure.
guys know what it is that happened with that. When they shut down, what happened to those retirement contracts? Is anybody still paying on those? And then Hostess company started up again
Yeah.
a little bit after that. And so when they started
Had
up
a lot
again,
less financial debt. It was
yeah,
weird.
they had a lot less of those retirement
Yeah.
pensions to pay out. And so they started again. And a lot of companies starting today, only 8% of any company is still paying a pension.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, very small.
likely Hostess isn't in its new form. And so they started again without having those, I don't know, weights,
Well, yeah.
those extra weights
It would be really a debt. Mm-hmm.
that
And
they'd have to be paying.
yeah, that doesn't. I don't know if you
It
keep.
doesn't give them any.
Yeah, there's no return on
return on
it
it,
really.
yeah.
They've already
They've already
the
gotten all
years
the
of
return.
service was the return, but that's done and over with at the time of retirement. Now they
Yeah.
just pay them for services already rendered, which
Yeah.
is weird if you
Yeah,
think
so it
about
is.
it on business standpoint.
It's a
Because they
liability.
paid them an hourly wage for the service. That's kind of what you get compensated for your hours.
Yeah.
And then after you're done, then they pay you still. So it's still like having an employee there.
Yeah.
I could see where it would be a financial burden. You know, I don't know. I could see it causing trouble, and it did.
It
Obviously.
did. It's caused lots of trouble. A lot of people can't afford to retire is another thing that makes it so that it isn't working, because it is being left to people to figure out their own retirement, and
Yeah.
a lot of people just aren't. Is that you got half of all private companies back in the 50s did have pensions, but today
Wow.
only 8% of them are doing pensions, which leaves it up to people to figure it
It's a
out.
huge drop.
Yeah. And today the average worker's only saved about $5,000 for retirement. Once they get close to retirement,
That's-
they have a whole $21,000 saved is all they've got when they're getting close to retirement.
Wow.
And that's them to their own devices
So on
figuring it
average,
out.
is $5,000. That's so. Yeah, if you're working, and most people probably are, an hourly wage, you're just one accident away from bankruptcy at
Oh,
that.
yes.
Because
Yes, absolutely.
that'd cover maybe a month's worth of stuff,
Yeah, the average
and then you're
person,
done.
the average worker's making about $50,000 a year. So $5,000 is about a month's wages.
Yeah, a month's wages. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. That is. That's scary to think that everyone's sitting just right on that teetering point of okay on one side and disaster on the other, and they're just on the line,
Yeah.
really, barely holding on.
One of the
That's
things
scary.
One of the things that's making it hard for the 40/40 plan to work is that pensions have become too expensive. People are living a lot longer than they used to,
Oh yeah,
and out of 100 multi-employee plans, they're going to run out of money in the next 20 years because they're going to end up with more retirees than they have employees. If you take a cross-section of these companies,
that's-
they're just going to all run out of money, and that's about when I would be retiring. So that's a little intimidating that you've got all these companies that do have pensions offering today that aren't going to be able to pay people when I'm retiring.
yeah. In 20 years, they'll be like retiring. What's that?
Yeah,
Well, people just keep working.
yeah. At that point, I'm sure it's just a going away kind of thing. Is
Yeah.
continue to go away? Is it got 50%
it'll be
of them?
phased out
Is
eventually.
that there won't be anybody
Yeah.
offering pensions
No,
at that point?
no, there's just no way.
The only ones you could pay into, not the ones you'd ever get any money out of.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some
Yeah.
way they could set that up. They probably would.
Oh yeah.
So as they leave it up to their own devices, a lot of employees are being placed instead into a 401k instead of a pension. And employees aren't putting any money into it. That's how they end up with just $5,000, is that they're not saving any money.
Yeah,
So-
people don't save like they used to. I remember,
Yeah.
You get some companies that will a lot of companies even, if you put in 401k, they'll match so much, dollar per dollar. But you don't have people who put much into it.
Yeah.
Back when I remember my dad, they offered something like that where he worked and he would put a lot into it. And they would match him and whatever. I think the mentality is different today too. We don't save like we used to. I think people used to save more.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
30 years ago, I think people saved more than today. Today's more of a...
Yeah, I wonder what that change in mindset was. That'd be
I
something
think things are
interesting.
cheaper. They don't have to save up for things anymore.
Oh.
Where it used to be, you wanted a new washer dryer set or a TV. I mean, it was a lot of
Oh,
money.
yeah.
But today,
television would've been a lot.
televisions are so cheap. You can go to Walmart and get whatever size of TV, and it's just instant. You don't have to
Yeah.
save much. It doesn't take
like
much
maybe
anymore.
5 hours of work or something. It's
Yeah,
hardly...
I think that's one of the things that killed it. Is now people and credit so readily available.
Credit, that
you
might
can
be
go
a
to
big
down
one.
to any car dealership anymore, and if they don't offer in-house, they have a bank right there ready to lend out money.
Yeah, and
You don't have to have a down payment anymore. They'll take
Yeah.
whatever. A lot of times you get close to tax season, you just sign a paper stating, "Oh yeah, I'll give you all my taxes. That's my down payment." You don't have to save nothing anymore.
Yeah, and I was just thinking that's actually one of those things too. Is you don't have to save for a TV, you don't have to save for a washer dryer because
Yeah.
you can just use credit together.
Yeah, credits.
I hadn't thought about
They
that.
hand credit
That's
out
one of
like
those things
crazy.
they wouldn't have had like 50 years
Yeah, they
ago so
wouldn't have.
easily.
Yeah.
So that probably is a big difference.
So the mentality is different. We don't need to save. The mentality, the idea is we don't need to
Yeah.
save. You can get everything on credit.
Yeah, and then
It's the American way,
and
baby.
people probably do think too that in the case of an emergency, I'll just borrow the money
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
of
exactly.
credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they didn't think that 100 years ago. They
No.
would think, oh, we could just borrow the money. The banks were just scary at that time, and so they wouldn't have thought that at all. That probably is a lot of the difference.
Oh, yeah. And you're going to talk about college, too.
Yes.
College used to be you would save for it.
Mm-hmm.
Save for college. Maybe your parents saved some to help get you through college. Today, people don't save for college.
Nope, credit.
Credit, yeah, right there. The government's right there willing to hand you money immediately. In fact, they're going to high schools and that advertising it.
Yep.
Hurry and get your paperwork signed now
Yeah.
before you even figure out what college you even want to apply to.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of student loans, you end up with the average student owing more than $30,000.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take them more than 21 years to pay that back. They're going
Yeah.
to be spending all of those 2 decades of the beginning of their life when they would have been going to buy a house, when they would have been starting a family, paying on this student loan debt,
Yep, and you can't
which is
pull bankruptcy.
changing the dynamics. You can't
Yeah.
pull out bankruptcy on it.
Yeah.
It's going to
It's a
be
debt that-
lingering there.
Yeah, it's going to hold on and hold on.
And we were told as kids that if you go to college, you're going to get your good paying job, and then it's going to be really easy to pay that money back.
Mm-hmm.
But that was according to the work market then.
Yeah, which has changed,
changed.
a lot due to that readily available money to send people to school. There was less people who, I mean, back when I was a kid, yeah, some people went to college, others did internships, things like that to get in.
Other
I'm
people,
sure.
yeah, some people had their money saved to go to college.
Yep.
Some people would just work for a while and
Yep.
then maybe
and work
go to
up the
college.
ladder.
Work up the ladder. Or just work
learn
without going to
different things.
college.
Yeah.
And do the working to get them up to that rung, the same rung they would have gotten if they'd have
Yep.
taken the college route.
Exactly.
And today you have 31% of people who have a bachelor's degree compared to only 12% back in 1971.
71. There was
Yeah.
how many?
12%.
Wow.
Yeah, back in
12%
1971.
in 71. Today it's
31%.
31.
But the wages haven't
Huge.
changed. People aren't getting paid more on average for having a college degree. And so they're
I would
taking
love
those
to see
same
the
wages.
numbers on college debt between then and now.
Oh yeah.
I bet it's huge.
Yeah,
You know how
college
many
debt
people,
is just shooting up because the prices
and I
are
wonder
shooting
how
up
many
so
people
fast.
pull loans and never get a degree.
Oh,
I bet there's a lot of people who out there has got college debt and don't even have a degree yet.
Yeah, because you got those people who they just started a degree and they didn't finish it,
Yeah,
or they
for
started
whatever,
a degree,
yeah.
got a degree in something that they can't get a job in, and so they end up using this degree and just working at a gas station or something because they can't use their degree.
Yep, and have that debt.
And have
hanging
that
over
debt
'em.
they still have to pay.
That's a
Their
mess.
wages aren't any higher.
Yeah.
And we're on track to earning less than what our parents and grandparents did, because back in 65 to 75, the minimum wage was adjusted for inflation over $8 an hour.
That blows
But it's
my
not
mind.
going. It's not going to get that high again. I mean, it's not on track to get that high again. Even if we
Well, we're
did
under
shoot up to
that
this
right now.
$15. Oh yeah, we're under that now. We're at
Yeah.
$7.25.
Yeah.
Is that if they even shoot it up to $15 an hour or whatever they want to shoot it up to, whatever Biden decides to do, then I imagine it's just going to shoot inflation right up to dropping it underneath the $8 an hour again, because it's just not getting to that place. It's not getting that place again.
No. We're in trouble there.
And since the cost of the college has increased 8 times faster than wages, it's going to make it really difficult for everybody to be paying all of those student loans back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it is, I've looked at the graph of how much it is that people owe in student loans, and it is just this exponentially shooting up
Just straight up.
into the, up into the sky,
Well, that makes
extraordinarily fast kind of graph.
me feel better. I got someone who keeps trying to look at the camera.
So, since we know that the 40-40 plan doesn't work anymore, what is it that you think is the new plan? What is it that people are supposed to do now? Because they can't do that. Are they supposed to just work through their retirement years? Are they supposed to do something else?
Yeah.
And what is it that you plan to do to retire?
Do you have a plan?
Do you have a plan?
Is it a good plan? If it is, I want to know.
Or are you going to retire? Are you planning to not retire? Do you think that retirement is just maybe something that was kind of an idea from a long time ago that we just aren't supposed to do anymore?
Are you hoping that Walmart brings back greeters? Is that your retirement
They
plan?
have greeters. They have greeters.
Do they have
oh,
greeters
yeah.
again?
Yeah, they have
Wow.
greeters. Yeah,
I haven't
think
been
they're
in
supposed
Walmart
to,
in a while.
I think you're supposed to check that you're wearing masks.
Oh,
For a while there, they were checking to see if you had your receipt, and check your receipt with the stuff that you had in your cart.
like Sam's Club does?
Yeah. Yeah, for a while they were doing that. But now it looks like they kind of check to make sure you've got your mask, and they
It's a
hand out
retirement.
masks.
Why not?
Yeah. And so that is everything I have.
Well, then that's everything I have. But please let us know. Do you have a plan or not? Or
Yeah, maybe
Any
it's not
ideas?
something we're supposed to do anymore. Maybe it was never a good idea.
maybe it wasn't.
Was it
Maybe
ever
wasn't.
a good idea to have a retirement? There's some that talk about that maybe it's bad for your health to go and retire.
There's a lot of theories on that.
Yeah, is that-
So are we as people meant to just keep working?
Yeah, maybe we're
It
just...
gives us a purpose in some ways. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
Okay, so let us know in the comments, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.